you know, what people are like, then you're going to get answers like Maggie Tulliver or Mrs. Dalloway or Huck Finn or Moll Flanders. You're going to get people are like this. And that particularity never leaves it. So literature's version of meaning is lots of stories intertwined together to make the story that we all tell, which we call history. And the genre of utopian fiction says that all the stories that we tell together are actually trying to make history go in a better direction. So not everybody agrees that the utopian reading is realistic, but I do. So, literature, the best, the deepest major of them all. But some people may still be wondering, what about jobs? Are there jobs in this project of discerning the meaning of life, or does it just make you an unusually witty barista in a coffee shop? No, there are jobs. And Professor Otter's list is a very good one, and I recommend that a good number of you become stock market analysts and work in finance, because there's a real need for meaning there, and a lot of good work can be done. And this is truly true in every field. It's true for the law, which is stories that people can make you believe in. It's true for teaching, where you actually have to convince students of the stories you're telling. But think about it in contradistinction to the sciences, because the sciences are specifically not interested in meaning. They are trying to find out what exists and how, and then what we could do. But what we should try for, and why we should try for it, they specifically look to the humanities to answer and ask those questions. And they're not just idle questions for the sciences, because they're looking for things to take on. So these become active inquiries, and by that I mean funded inquiries. So there's more and more work to be had for people who work in our field to help science, and somewhat as if Dr. Frankenstein was still in control of his monster. And then, of course, there's always grad school, which is another thing that I said to my dad back in that fateful conversation. I said, well, look, I'm going to go to grad school. It's a job. It's going to, and he said, well, yes, but then in 4 years you're going to come back and we're going to have this same conversation. I said, well, sure, fine, but let's call it 8 years, because grad school is grad school after all. Life is complicated. So, congratulations on being very hardworking and in the best of all possible majors and at the best of all possible universities. It's looking pretty good here, and I would like to be able to go on and say that you're graduating into the best of all possible worlds. However, I can't. I am a science fiction writer, not a fantasy writer. Therefore, I can't tell you that. It isn't even close to true. We are headed into a highly stressed century. Extremely dangerous to human beings and to many other species. 7 billion of us on the planet now, and about 10 billion of us probably coming at its high point. That's about 75 million added every year to the current population, so like 2 Californians worth of people added